inspires me? I think I'm inspired by a lot of different things, and usually things that are happening around me or in my life. Um, most of my books are actually written about either things that have happened to me or to people that I know, but they're obviously fictionalised to make them a bit more interesting. Um, but for example, I might see a news item and then decide that that would make a good story, or I wonder about the what has actually happened, and then that sort of formulates into a story in my mind, and then I'll write something. Or something, I might see something as I'm walking along the road, or hear something, and again I'll be inspired to write something about it. So it really, it's a lot of different things that inspire me. For example, my latest book, Haunted, was inspired by a couple of road rage incidents that I saw. And I was just I'm always shocked by the way people behave when they are behind the wheel. I think you kind of become a different person, and that is, I've seen it quite a few times. Living in a city where there's a lot of traffic, you do, see a lot of road rage incidents. And also, when I was doing criminal law for a while, I witnessed a case where somebody had acted completely out of character, and after a road rage incident. So those sort of things inspired like my last novel, and also a news story that I'd heard about a random murder, and it just got me thinking that obviously somebody kills somebody, and don't know anything about the background of that person's background, and you don't know who it's going to affect, and and even the murderer is also a victim. So all of that went together to inspire my last novel, Haunted, and I came up with a fictional story that kind of used all of those inspirational things, and created this story about kind of a message I wanted to get across about how anger can be destructive, and that basically is Haunted, the premise behind Haunted, although that also there are elements of books that I read or films I've seen that have also gone into that. For example, A Beautiful Mind, the film. When I watched that, I was totally blown away, and the fact that it was based on a true story as well, and I really, it stayed with me for a long time, and that kind of that kind of thing also went into my inspiration behind Haunted, as well as when I was younger I used to watch a lot of sort of more kind of horror type things, and I used to read a lot more horror things. I don't really read horror nowadays, or watch any sort of horror movies, but funnily enough, when I was younger I never used to be as frightened of them as I kind of am now. But yeah, that sort of thing inspired, it sort of was a bit of inspiration behind Haunted. So you can see just from that one novel that a lot of different elements have gone into the inspiration behind it, and that kind of happens with all of my books. For example, again, A Time to Tell is inspired by my time working as a family lawyer. So a lot of the characters, well, the main sort of character who suffers domestic violence is inspired by quite a few of the women that I came across during the time that I was a family lawyer, and I came across a lot of women who'd suffered domestic violence, were going through divorces. Again, the subject of divorce comes up in my novel Second Chances, and the main character, James, is a solicitor. So I was a solicitor, working in various different areas. I've got that character, James, working in criminal law and family law, which I used to do. So you can kind of see elements of what actually used to go on in my day-to-day work experience in there. So yeah, there's a lot of things from my own life that inspire me to write, and then I like creating, fictional worlds out of reality. So I think my mind is always ticking away, thinking up stories. I've always been a storyteller, so can be inspired by absolutely anything.